everyone, and today we are going to start with the second part of The Sound of Music, titled The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Ustad Bismillah Khan, the recipient of Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan and Bharat Ratna. An expert, a Shehnai maestro. Who doesn't know about him? He is known throughout India and worldwide. In today's section, we are going to learn about his journey and how he inspires each one of us through his hard work and determination to reach to the top. So let's learn about Ustad Bismillah Khan in today's section. I'll read out the lesson and explain it to you along with the word meanings, followed by a brief summary and the question answers. But before that, the moral, of course. Since the writer of this part is not known to us, so we are going to directly jump to reading and explanation. But before that, if you want to know more about Ustad Bismillah Khan, I have included his video links in the description box. Don't forget to check them out. And also the timestamps about this video that I am making. So let's start with the reading and explanation, The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Think of the Shehnai and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro, playing his instrument. Maestro is an expert performer of classical music. Now let's read the chapter. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi. Pungi is a musical instrument which has holes on it and it is played by blowing air into it. In the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Shrill means high-pitched. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Generic name means a name given to a class or group as a whole, and reeded means wind instruments which have reeds like the flute, the clarinet, etc. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Revived means brought back to life or reintroduced. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a nai, that is barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. It was during Emperor Aurangzeb's time when pungi was banned. It was prohibited. Nobody could play that musical instrument because it had a high-pitched, unpleasant sound. And pungi, the word pungi became a name for a whole group of musical instruments which had instruments like flute, the clarinet, etc. But only a few knew that this pungi will be revived one day or it will be reintroduced in a different form. Now, during those days, there was a barber of a family of professional musicians and he could go to royal palace. So he decided to improve the quality, the voice quality or the sound quality of pungi. So he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer than pungi and broader and he made 7 holes on it. And while playing it, he closed and opened some of the holes in such a way that it produced soft and melodious sounds. When he played the same thing in the royal palace, everyone was really impressed. But since this instrument was different than pungi, it had to be given a new name. Now, here comes the naming of this instrument. Because this instrument was played first in Shah's chamber and it was played by a nai, which is a barber, it was called the Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means which brings good fortune. And for this reason, it is still played in the temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Indispensable means without which a piece of work cannot be done. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Now, Naubat Khana used to be a drum house or an orchestra pit, and this was actually a hub, a storehouse of many instrument things. Ensemble means things that are considered as a group. So Naubat Khana was a group or hoarded or stored 9 instruments which were found at royal courts. Till recently, it was used in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument into the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So, not just it was the history, but in the present times also, we consider Shehnai as a very auspicious instrument which brings good fortune, and that is why Shehnai is often played in temples or any North Indian wedding. Without Shehnai, the function seems very dull and drab. But in the past, there was this Naubat. Naubat is a group of 9 instruments which are generally found at courts, and among these 9 instruments, Shehnai was also one. And till recently, it was used in temples and weddings. But this credit, the credit for bringing this instrument onto the top or onto the popularity, all goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. About 80 years back, Bismillah Khan was just a 5-year-old boy who used to play gilli danda. Gilli danda is a very popular sport, Indian sport, which used to be played in earlier times, and now also in rural areas children do play this game. So Bismillah Khan used to play this game near a pond, and regularly he used to go to Bihariji temple to sing a Bhojpuri Chet. After singing that Chet, the local Maharaja used to give him a big laddu weighing 1.25 kgs as a prize. And look now, after 80 years, this same little boy has gained so much of popularity that he was awarded the highest civilian award in India, that is Bharat Ratna. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather, Rasul Bakhsh Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. His father, Paigambar Bakhsh, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Paternal ancestors means ancestors of the father. So Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916, and he belonged to a very well-known family of musicians. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court, which means he was given this title Shehnai Nawaz because he used to play this in Bhojpur King's Court. And his father, Paigambar Baksh, and other people on his father's side were also great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house, maternal means ancestors of the mother, in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Captivated means fascinated or impressed. On end means for a very long time without stopping. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maya and the banks of Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts. Apprentice is a person who works as a trainee at low wages, where he would practice in solitude. Solitude means being lonely. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas. Raga is a framework of music in Indian classical music that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. As a young boy, Bismillah Khan took a lot of interest in music, and at the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, Bismillah was really impressed when he watched his uncle practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh, who went to Vishnu temple of Banaras, and there Ali Baksh was employed, or he was given payment to play the Shehnai. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would just sit there impressed, looking at or listening to the Shehnai for hours. And then slowly Bismillah Khan also started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Bismillah Khan's favorite place for practice was the temple of Balaji, Mangal Maya, and the banks of Ganga. He felt that the Ganga had inspired him to improvise himself, and the blessings of river Ganga had made him invent such ragas which were beyond the range of Shehnai, in the sense that those rags which could never be played on Shehnai were first time introduced or invented by Bismillah Khan. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. When Bismillah Khan grew up a bit at the age of 14, he once went to Allahabad Music Conference with his uncle. And at the end of his recital means a musical performance or a concert, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted Bismillah's back and he told him to work hard and he shall make big out of it. And then in 1938, when All India Radio in Lucknow started, it gave Bismillah a big break because soon Bismillah was playing Shehnai on radio and it was often heard and became popular amongst the masses. When India gained independence in 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Then later, on 15th August 1947, when India was independent, Bismillah Khan was the first Indian who played Shehnai at Red Fort. And he played Shehnai on Rag Kafi. And amongst his audience were Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru later on gave his famous speech Tryst with Destiny. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro. Taken in by means attracted or charmed by. Maestro is an expert in music, that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Souvenirs means things given in memory of a place, person, or event. The King of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Chartbuster means record breaker. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, celluloid is an old-fashioned way of referring to films. Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music, ventures means projects, were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sanadi Aparna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. Bismillah had gained a lot of popularity both in India and abroad. His first trip was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so impressed by his performance that he gave him expensive Persian carpet and things in memory of that place or event. Back in India, he also impressed two film directors. One was Vijay Bhatt, who started with a film based on the name of Shehnai, which was called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. And this film was hit because it had one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, a song which was titled Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. It's a very memorable, a record-breaking song in history. And then another movie which was made by Vikram Srinivas was made in Kannada, Sanadi Aparna. But even after doing well with these two movies, Bismillah Khan was not very impressed with the artificiality and the glamour of the film world. So that was it, and he never continued in the film world as it is. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Thick and fast means rapidly and in great numbers. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Tahir Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan gained a lot of popularity and awards too soon and too many. He was the first Indian who was invited to perform at Lincoln Center Hall in USA. He also took part in World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Festival, and also in Osaka Trade Fair. And in Tehran, he was so popular that there was an auditorium which was named after him. And the name given to that auditorium was Tahir Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. Conferred means given, usually an award or a degree. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award resting on his chest. Coveted means much desired, and his eyes glinting with rare happiness. Glinting means sparkling. He said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." Ustad Bismillah Khan received awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, and also in 2001 Bharat Ratna. So, on receiving all these awards, he gave a message to everyone, and he said that one should teach our children music because this music is Hindustan's richest tradition, and even the Western countries are coming to our country to learn our music. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns in the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Benares by replicating the temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan." Yearning means wanting or longing. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga, and while in Banaras, I miss the unique matha of Dumrao. Matha is a drink which is made with dahi or buttermilk with spices. It is like a similar spicy chach. Bismillah Khan was also called Khan Sahib fondly by his fans, and he feels that however much he travels in the world, his favorite two places were Banaras and Dumrao. Once upon a time, a student of his wanted him to head a Shehnai school in USA, and then the student promised that he will make the same atmosphere as Banaras by making same kind of temples, by replicating the temples there in USA. But Khan Sahib then asked him if he will be able to transport river Ganga there also. So this tells us that he was so attached to Banaras, to Ganga, to the Indian earth, Indian culture, that he never wanted to leave his own country and go somewhere else, because river Ganga had been his inspiration since childhood. And so he also speaks that whenever he is in foreign country, he is always wanting to come back to Hindustan. When he is in Mumbai, he misses the holy Ganga or the view in Banaras, and when he is in Banaras, then he misses the taste of matha, that is a spicy buttermilk of Dumrao, which he always liked. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim, devout means believing strongly in a religion and obeying its laws and following its practices, like him, can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. Prolonged means which happened for a long time. He was given a state funeral, and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. When he was interviewed by Shekhar Gupta for Reader's Digest in October 2005, Shekhar Gupta asked him a question. When partition happened, didn't you and your family think of moving to Pakistan? Bismillah Khan said, God forbid me leave Banaras? Never. I went to Pakistan once. I crossed the border just to say I've been to Pakistan. I was there for about an hour. I said namaskar to the Pakistanis and salam alaikum to the Indians. I had a good laugh. So, by now we know that Ustad Bismillah Khan's life was a perfect example of the combination of and cultures of India. He was a Muslim who believed strongly in Muslim laws and followed its practices. But on the other hand, every morning, without fail, he used to love playing Shehnai at the Kashi Vishwanath temple also. Ustad Bismillah Khan died on 21st August 2006 after a long illness, and when he died, he was given a state funeral, and the government of India declared one day of holiday as a national mourning. So it is understood that a person like Ustad Bismillah Khan was not just talented, was not just very down to earth, but he was also attached to the roots of his country. He never distinguished between religions. Being a Muslim himself, he paid equal respect to the Hindu religion and the gods and the goddesses as well. A salute to Ustad Bismillah Khan as we close this chapter. Before I tell you about Ustad Bismillah Khan's life journey, let's first understand how did Shehnai come into being. During Aurangzeb's time, Pungi was a musical instrument which was banned to be played because it had a shrill noise. It had an unpleasant noise. So there was this barber who belonged to a family of musicians. He invented an instrument which was made of a hollow stem and which had holes in it, and he played it in such a way by closing and opening the holes that the sound which came out of it was very melodious and impressed the king at that time. Since this instrument was played in the royal palace in front of Shah and it was invented by a Nai, that is a barber, it was termed or it was named as Shehnai. Talking about Ustad Bismillah Khan, he was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians. His grandfather and his father both were very expert Shehnai players. At the age of 3, he accompanied his maternal uncle Ali Baksh when he used to play Shehnai at the royal place. And from that time or from that moment of his life, he got so impressed, so fascinated by this musical instrument that he also thought of picking up this instrument as his profession or passion. At the banks of River Ganga and at Vishnu temple, he used to sit and practice for long. In 1938, when Lucknow opened its All India radio station, Bismillah used to play Shehnai there. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Ustad Bismillah Khan was the first musician to greet the entire nation with his Shehnai. And that was the time when Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru were present in the audience, and Jawaharlal Nehru had given his historic popular speech, Tryst with Destiny. Taking inspiration from Ustad Bismillah Khan, there was this director Vijay Bhatt who made a film named Goonj Uthi Shehnai. There was also a South Indian filmmaker Vikram Srinivas who made a Kannada film in which he portrayed the Shehnai as well. But Ustad Bismillah Khan was not much interested in those films during those times, and he was more into doing concerts in India as well as abroad. He was invited to perform at Lincoln Center Hall in USA, World Exposition in Montreal and Cannes Film Festival. Recognition, popularity came to him thick and fast. There was an auditorium in Tehran which was also named after him. One of his students had proposed to Ustad Bismillah Khan to head a Shehnai school in USA. He even told Ustad that he will replicate the Banaras environment, the temples there. But when he was asked if he will be able to transport Ganga there, at that time he had no answer. This shows that Ustad Bismillah Khan was very attached to Hindustan. He may have travelled worldwide, but Banaras and Dumrao were two places where his heart lived. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect combination of cultural heritage. He belonged to Muslim religion, but he gained inspiration from the temples and Ganga Maiya. Unfortunately, on 21st August 2006, Ustad Bismillah Khan left for heavenly abode. He died after a prolonged illness, and after his death, he was given a state funeral and one-day holiday for the entire nation. This was the inspiring life of Ustad Bismillah Khan. And his speciality was that all those ragas which were never played on Shehnai, he was the first person to play on that musical instrument. And because of him, this instrument has come up front. Well, so what is the moral of this chapter? We can draw inspiration from his hard work and determination, and of course, the cultural bonding that he has made or that he has created in his life is, of course, inexplicable. So determination, hard work, persistence is the only way and is the only key to success. That's all in this session, and in my next session I'll come up with a new video. But before going, don't miss the question answers that I'm going to flash in front of you. Thank you very much. God bless you and take care.